Hey everybody, welcome to the open world Warcraft. My name is Setsuko, and I got a chance to play the War Within Alpha early, and I also got the opportunity to sit down and do a Q&A with the devs, with a bunch of other people as well, and had several of my questions about the upcoming expansion and the features that are the most important to me, and what we can look forward to for those. So what I wanted to do here in this video is I wanted to take you through, kind of show you some stuff here in the alpha, and just talk about things that I've learned in this time period. Before we hop into that, this is a fairly new channel. I made one video many months ago to kind of establish the channel, talk about delves, which are an exciting feature for me for the upcoming expansion. So I thought I would take a brief moment, just let you know who I am in case you're new here, what you can expect, and why you should care about keeping an eye on the channel here. So my name's Setsuko. I've been a WoW creator since the beta of Battle for Azeroth. Off and on relationship with WoW these past several years, because I felt that as I've evolved as a player, there's been less and less to hook me and engage me in World of Warcraft in the way that makes me feel like a valued player. And there are a couple features coming in the War Within that I think are really going to turn that around. So I used to be a very hardcore WoW player back in the vanilla, Burning Crusade, Lich King days. I've come back for every expansion and played, but over time I've really enjoyed playing lots of different characters. I'm a self-professed altoholic. And on top of that, I really enjoy making content for and perfecting builds for leveling, open world content, world quest, and solo play. And within that realm, there hasn't been a lot in World of Warcraft that has felt rewarding on that side of things, right? You kind of beat the campaign and then you got your daily grinds, but there's no sort of progression added on top of that. And in addition, if you want to play more than one character, you got to grind out everything over and over and over. And I literally play all of the classes. That's a lot of grinding renown, doing the same thing over and over again. And so I kind of got really burnt out on that. In the War Within, two features are really kind of bringing it home. On top of the fact that the developers have said that they are now taking a major mental shift in no longer viewing World of Warcraft as a character-driven game, but more as an account-driven game. So moving forward, as we progress and they get more development time, you can expect anything that seems like it should be account-wide is probably going to end up being account-wide, right? It might take some time for it to all get there, but it's going to get there. And so when we come to the War Within, first thing that got added here is going to be Warbands. We'll talk a little bit about those, but essentially it means account-wide progression for your characters in this upcoming expansion, and hopefully a lot of this account-wide stuff will be retroactive. What you're seeing on the screen right here now is a step in that direction for the Warband. So no longer do you log in and see one character on the screen. You can pick 4 of your favorites, and your 4 favorites will show up around the campfire here. You can drag and drop them around to change positions. I've asked a couple of questions about this that we'll get to in a couple of minutes here. But in addition to this, you have a Warband bank now that you can use to send items and store items for all the characters on your account, regardless of faction. You're going to have account-wide renown and reputation in the War Within expansion, and hopefully they'll implement that retroactively as well. Transmog has been made easier so that if a plate wearer picks up a cloth item, they can still claim the transmog for any character on the account. So no more farming old legacy raids, and 75% of the loot you get is worthless because you can't actually get the transmog on the character you're running on, which is super hype because I love to run that old content. So there's the transmog system, the rep, there's the bank, just a lot of different stuff. There's also Warbound gear, which is basically bind on account gear that you can earn on your other characters to send to your alts and help them gear up faster. So lots and lots of stuff on the Warband side of things here. So before we hop in and take a look at the other feature that I'm really excited about, I asked a couple questions about Warbands. So one, I asked, can we get double click to log in functionality? Because right now I really just want to double click on the character I want to play and be able to log in that way. They said that that is something they're working on. Like now that the character menu has changed, it just feels like, oh, I should just be able to double click and log in. So that is on the way. Maybe that'll be in by the time the expansion comes out. I'm not sure. Then also I asked, hey, what about the possibility of being able to choose poses for our different characters? Like if we want one crouching over the fire, or maybe we want one kind of leaning off to the side or something like that. And they said that, you know, this is something that is not promised, but is something they think they'd like to do. So, you know, may not be with the launch of the expansion, may never come, but it does look like it's something that is on their mind and has the potential to come down the pipeline eventually. So just some cool things that I think would be pretty fun there. Let's see, were there any other Warbound notes here? I don't think so. Just the overall shift in that mindset from going from a character-based game to an account-based game. So, with that, we're going to hop in here and we are going to take a look at the other feature that I'm really excited about. We're going to go in on a Protection Warrior here, and we're going to talk about and play through all 3 delves that are available to us in the alpha as of right now. So, delves are huge. Right now in the live game, if you go to the Great Vault, which is where you get a lot of your progression loot at in-game, if you go to that Great Vault, you're going to be able to get gear by doing Mythic Plus, raiding, or PvP. So if you like to play open world content, if you like to solo, if you're a collector, right, and those are the things you're focused on, you don't really have a way to get that in-game loot without going into those other types of content. Delves are a new type of open world content that you're going to be able to play through and earn Great Vault loot for when it comes to your in-game progression in the War Within. So that is super exciting for me as someone who likes that kind of content and really doesn't want to go into dungeons, raids, or PvP. Not that I have anything against them. I'd just rather spend my time out in the open world, trying out new talents, collecting things, going back, farming old raids, trying to get transmogs, all those sorts of things. That's the kind of player I am. And so to have this area I can go into where not only can I go into these delves potentially with some friends, which we'll talk about later, but I can also go into them solo and I can challenge myself. That makes me really excited because I finally feel like, well, when I get to max level on a character, I have something to do to progress my skill and to progress my gear, my equipment, and my stats once I reach that point. And thinking about the possibility of going through all these delves, challenging them on the different classes, the different specializations, trying to see how far I can get is really, really exciting. It's kind of like, you know, scenarios mixed with Torghast, mixed with islands, all spun up into this new, entirely different content line for those players that really want to focus on that outdoor content. So we're going to get in and go tackle a delve. I've done all these delves multiple times. They are insanely easy right now. But that'll give us an opportunity to talk through them. I figured we would do that while we played through one. So that's what we're going to do. I was out here in the forest testing a build. And now I'm getting stuck in these trees. Trees are not the best place for dynamic flight, right? All right, so we're right here. Just take a look. We are in the open world. Okay, we're on the map. This is the entrance to a delve. So as you can see, it's right out here in the open world. You see this kind of gray fog here. This is the indicator that this is a delve. So we're going to go up to these. And when we get up here, it's going to pop up. UI is a work in progress. This is the Fungal Folly delve. There are 3 different delves on this current map in this build of the alpha. So when you get here, you get to pick a tier. Right now we have tier 1, 2, and 3. Okay, tier 1 is your basic, kind of like I want to see the story delve level. Okay. Tier 1 and 2 are going to be accessible to you while you're leveling up, so you can play Delves while you're leveling. The rewards from this are going to be player experience, and you also get expeditionary spoils. So this is going to be a chest at the end that has items for you. Right here on the left, you're going to see what the scenario is. This gives you an idea of who the enemies are. In this one, we're trying to rescue earthen miners who've been captured by Fungarians. Right here in the middle, this gives you a description of what the tier is going to do. And then on the right, you can see there's usually some sort of modifier or some sort of special mechanic. In this case, there's going to be these explosive spore bits in the delves. If you move near them or you damage them, they're going to chase you down and then they will explode. Okay. Now, tier 2 is all the same stuff, except the modifier here is going to add 25% more health and 25% more damage to the enemies within the delve itself. Plus, additional traps and challenges are going to appear. Now, I'm telling you straight up, this is absolutely insanely easy right now, especially on a prot warrior. So, I do want to mention, I asked a question in the QA. I said, look, understanding we have 3 tiers right now, and that the 3rd tier right here is available at max level. So you got to clear the campaign, and you have to have an item level of 525. So this is your introductory max level tier. I said, understanding we have 3 tiers, are there plans to add 4th, 5th, and 6th tiers as the expansion continues? Will there be challenge achievements or other ways to increase the difficulty for more rewards or to push personal skill level outside of tier selection? So here's what the devs told me. When the game comes out, there are going to be 11 tiers. 11 tiers of difficulty for delves, which is way more than what I was thinking. I was hoping, like, can we get some more, please? Can we get a 4 or 5 or 6? And they said 11, and I went, what? So the rewards are going to scale up to level 8. The 9th, 10th, and 11th tiers are going to be kind of achievement bragging rights type things only. They're just there for you to continue to push yourself and challenge yourself. So that 9th, 10th, and 11th tier will give you rewards equivalent to what you're going to get at the tier 8 level. Also, there's a 13th delve. So there are 12 delves, 3 per zone, and there's a mysterious 13th delve, which they've mentioned before, and this is going to be like the pinnacle delve, and they described it as a 1-room boss fight. Okay, so some pretty interesting stuff there. So as we get into this, just know that the difficulty you're seeing here is 2 out of 11, and 3 through 11 are in-game only. Okay, so once we get up here, we're going to walk up to this fog. We're going to hop in. Now, you can go into these delves with 1 to 5 players. Okay, so you can go in solo. You can go in with 2 friends. You can go in with 4 friends and have a full party. They are role agnostic, so it doesn't matter. You can go in as a healer, as a tank, as a DPS, solo, and you should be fine. In addition, they did confirm that we are going to have cross-faction delves. So you'll be able to go into these delves cross-faction with the group. So that is pretty awesome as well. All right, so let's pop into here. As you can see, we did not have a loading screen. The fog dropped. Now we are in our own little instance of this delve, or if we had a group, we'd all be in the same instance. So at this point, if someone were to come up here, they wouldn't just walk into my instance. So it's kind of like seamless open world, but you can see back here, that's sort of the gateway. So it's still kind of instanced a little bit, but not at the same scale as like a dungeon. So for the first season of delves, we didn't get a lot of information about seasons, but for the first season of delves, you're going to be accompanied by Bran Bronzebeard as a companion. Each season is going to have a companion for you, and we get Bran here at the beginning. Right when you walk in, there's going to be some Explorers League supplies. You can click on these, and then you can click View Bran Bronzebeard Supplies. So a couple things here. One, you can choose a combat role for Bran. Now, I did confirm that healer and damage dealer are your only options, so you can't take Bran as a tank. So he's healer or damage dealer. So once you choose a combat role for him, you can look at view abilities, and that's going to show you the abilities that he's learned and what he can do. Bran will level up over time. He'll gain experience in the delves themselves. There are also quests that you can find that you can turn in to get experience for your delve companion. In this case, that would be Bran. If you look at my Bran, he's level 5. I haven't gotten him to level 5 just on one character. The progression for your delve companion is account wide. So, regardless of who you're playing on, as you go through the delves, you're continually leveling Bran up. If you get him to max level and you start on delves with a new character, he'll be a max level Bran. So that can help you out with leveling up and progressing your alt as well. In addition, we're going to have this utility trinket and combat trinket. No word on what that is or what that looks like. So I'm going to have Bran adopt a damage dealer role here. As a protection warrior, I have got plenty of sustain and durability, so I don't need the healing from a healing perspective. So at the start of these delves, you're going to bump into an NPC. They're going to have something they want you to do. So you just talk to them, you hit the quest. Okay, then it's going to start telling you what to do, right? So we got to go rescue some scouts. They want us to jump down in this pit. We've done this many a time before, right? There's the start of a dungeon, middle of a raid. You know, we've jumped down in the water many times. We got a rope over here to get back up. And then over here, we have a fun little mushroom to bounce on. Whoop, to get ourselves up top. Now, we'll dive in a little bit and talk about this specific delve. We'll delve into it, if you will. I really wanted to use that pun earlier, but I'm using it now, so it's getting used. So we'll talk a little bit about the specific delve here and delve mechanics as we go. So this right here, that is a spore bit. Those are the things that will explode on you if you're not too close. Now, I will report to you, at this difficulty level, it really doesn't matter. Or I purposely have stood in every single thing that I could possibly stand in to see how much it would hurt me. And as a protection warrior, not a whole lot of anything has hurt me. So, and I think that even on a squishier class, I would still be okay. All right. Again, this thing's going to bounce you when it explodes, so that's something to watch out for. All right. Now, I'm not going to worry too much about looting these characters because it's an alpha. I don't get to keep anything, right? So we're going to go around. We're going to rescue these scouts. If you look on your mini map, it shows you, literally shows you where everything is. So there's not really any guesswork. Go ahead and take these down. All right, if you're curious about what's going on with my build here, we'll get around to builds in a future video, and I'll explain what's going on here. Don't worry about it too much. I was testing builds out before I started making this video. And I'm just automatically looting. Oh, we got ourselves a little buff right here. So you can find items throughout the dungeon. It could be like this mushroom, or it could be like a treasure chest or something like that. And these will give you usually a 1-minute buff. This is going to give me 10 minutes of haste and turn me into a little mushroom guy. All right, so go ahead, rescue this scout. We'll continue on. Now at this difficulty, we are able to run into some rare spawns within the dungeon, and usually when you kill the rare spawns, which we have one up ahead here, we'll take a look at, it will also give you a buff. All right. So pretty much what you're going to do in these delves, they're supposed to be relatively short. They're not supposed to be like insanely long or anything. They're supposed to take approximately 10 to 15 minutes a piece. Okay. And so you'll go in, you'll complete the objective. From what I have seen, you'll fight a boss at the end, and then you'll get your loot. This item right here, the Empowered Meeting Stone, is a resurrection spot. So if you were to die out here, it'll res you at the empowered meeting stone. Also, you have the opportunity to respec Bran if you feel like you need to make that respec here as well. All right, so let's continue on. It's an ambush. It's a trap. So as you can tell right now, not a whole lot threatening in here. This is perfectly fine to solo. I mean, I'm positive you could solo this with a healer, no problems. I think as a DPS, you'd be fine as well, because you would be killing these enemies a lot faster than I am, and I'm killing them pretty fast as well. I have a very solo, open world focused build on the warrior here. So that's kind of the intention, is that I have a good amount of DPS to utilize here. I'm not focused on just being a full tank. All right. So we rescue a big chunk of them right there. Gonna head up this direction. Bran randomly throws fish at you and it makes you learn a recipe, which I find to be very interesting. It's a little bit confusing if I'm being honest, but you know, it is what it is. All right, we've got 2 more scouts left. And we should also be able to get over to this rare spawn here, hopefully. All right, rescue that scout. I tried running over these traps and they don't seem to really do anything at the moment. So, you know, I think that rare spawn might be up somewhere that I don't know how to get to. It could just be stuck in a weird, you know, place because of the alpha. Right here, deal lightning damage to enemies around you every 4 seconds for a minute. So we found a treasure chest with a buff. So we're going to go ahead and take this up. All right, got an enemy to fight here. Again, we got these spores. It's going to explode him and knock him around, right? Nice little elite here. All right, we got ourselves a shroom over here. All right, so we've rescued all the scouts. Spin Shroom here is going to be our boss for the delve, so we will take him down. Again, like I said, I've kind of just stood in everything in these delves just to see if I can, and it's been a non-issue. How dare you? Now, obviously, you know, we can move out of this stuff as well, but this difficulty level, I'm not sure exactly who it's tuned for. It's alpha, you know, stuff can still change. Maybe this sort of difficulty level here will go up, or this could be exactly what they're intending for like a leveling difficulty challenge. All right, so we finished the boss, doesn't drop any loot. But Bran's going to run over. We're going to have a treasure room. He'll open it up for us. And we look inside. And we've got 3 different chests. Now, you don't always get 3 different chests. And on top of that, just because you get the chests doesn't mean that you can open the chest. So you can always open this green chest, the bountiful treasure chest. So we open that up. It's going to give us typically some stuff that we can just vendor for gold. It's going to give us maybe a crafting reagent. It'll give us some resonance crystals, which are the renowned currency for the expansion. And from what I've seen, it always gives you at least one piece of gear. So you collect all the loot from this. And then once you're done, you're pretty much done. You're going to hop on the Levo bot. It's going to take you back to the beginning of the delve. You're good to go. Now, as for this plentiful chest and the epic magnificent chest of treasures, in order to open these, you have to have a delve key of that rarity. Okay, so a rare key. And for this one, we're going to need that epic key. You're able to get these a couple of different ways from what I understand right now. So there is a delve vendor that will sell keys, so you can get a currency and you can get keys from that delve vendor. Also, I believe you're going to be able to get these keys from like a weekly quest. This is all still heavily under balance. The devs are actually wanting to get a lot of feedback on delves throughout the alpha. This is one of the new features, so they really want to find like what's going to fit and feel fun for players. So very, very, very subject to change, but as of right now, you always get a green chest, and if you have a key, you can open up one of the other chests. You don't always have all 3 chests that spawn. I don't know if that's an alpha thing or if it's just intended that sometimes it'll spawn just a green chest and sometimes it spawns all 3, or maybe it's supposed to spawn all 3 every time and it's just a bug. I don't know for sure. So we're going to take this back to the beginning, and I want to share with you some more information about delves. We're going to head over to the next one. So if we come back over here, and it's telling me I have an unspent talent point, but I don't. That's also a bug. Okay. So we leave the delve. You'll see the mist just drops and we are back in the open world. So we're going to head to our next delve location. Okay. So we've already kind of mentioned, we're going to be able to have cross-faction delves. We mentioned the 11 tiers of difficulty. As you can see, I was really happy to hear that we have 11 tiers because tier 2 was so easy. I was like, if tier 3 is the cap, then either it's going to be insanely high jump or it's going to be very, very easy. And this might not be the challenging, fun, and rewarding solo/group open world content that I had hoped it would be. All right, so this is our next delve that we're going to be going into here. This is going to be Kriegval's Rest. We'll talk about that in just a minute, but I want to share some more information that I got regarding delves. Okay. So I said, I understand delve keys are limited resources for farming good gear and rewards, but a fixed green chest at the end of a typical delve doesn't feel great. Regardless of the contents, green doesn't have the connotation of exciting in World of Warcraft for a gear or item drop. What are your thoughts on something like a random chance to proc a blue or purple chest, increasing chest rarity based on performance or reputation, or other methods to not make delves a green chest grind? Perhaps Bran could have a proc ability where he found exciting new loot that bumped the chest up to a rare or something like that. Now, when I asked this question, I wasn't really trying to suggest that we have random procs, but I was trying to provide an example of something that made it so that you didn't know going into a delve, I don't have a key, so all I'm getting is a green chest out of this. Basically, what the devs told me is is that this is an issue that is on their mind. It's something that they're aware of. They want to make sure that delves do feel fun. And they are taking that feedback that, yeah, okay, getting a green chest every time doesn't necessarily feel that fun. Apologize for all my stumbling and my, slipping of words. I've been teaching. That's my job. Been teaching all day and then rolling into this video. So lots of talking today. So they understand that. They don't want to set things up in a way that the right way to play delves becomes just grinding them over and over and over and over again in the hopes that you get the procs to get the good chests. To that, I say, well, delves have a ton of cosmetics attached to them. And so the people that are really into that are going to run them over and over and over and over again anyway to try to get the delve cosmetics. But I understand what they're saying. I personally think that I would like to do delves a lot, but not every person is going to be like that. But at the same time, I feel like, well, if you're trying to make another pillar for in-game content that's built for the people that like outdoor content and things like this, then why wouldn't you go all in on it? Because, for example, if there's something that I want to get from PvP or a raid or a dungeon, sometimes the best way to do that is just play it over and over and over and over again until I get the drop, right? So I don't necessarily agree with kind of that mentality. I do in the sense of, like, you don't want it to be too extreme. But all that being said, they're aware of the potential issue here. They want it to be fun, so they're looking into ways to kind of, for those that want to do delves a lot, looking for ways for it to be more rewarding or more interesting, and not just like, it's almost like, even though the stuff you get in the chest is random, it's a predetermined outcome. You know, I'm going to get a green chest, and probably at best it'll have a green item in it. A couple other things for delves here. There's going to be a customizable delve mount. So pretty soon after you hit max level and you get into the delve system, they're going to give you a base mount, kind of like you get a base dragon in Dragonflight. And as you progress through delve content, you're going to be able to unlock customizations for that mount, just like you can unlock customizations for the dragon in Dragonflight. So that mount is kind of like a, it looks like a gnomish sort of flying vehicle. I'm grabbing some images of it here right now. So let me see if I can just flip over here and show you. Oh, we got Inception over here. Okay, so right here, this is a look at what that vehicle looks like. It's got a base, and then it's going to have all sorts of customizable pieces to it as well. So get to see my stream setup there. All right. So you're going to get that customizable mount, which is pretty exciting. I'm glad that we have something to kind of work towards on that. And I'm also glad that it's like a big reward that's being placed within the context of this new system. Right now, the plan for delves is that the level of gear that they will reward will be at most equivalent to Mythic plus 5. Okay, so Mythic plus 5. So obviously you can still earn better gear by doing higher Mythic keys or by doing, you know, higher tier raids. But at the same time, we now have an avenue for open world play that will get us to gear equivalent to Mythic level 5, which I think is pretty solid considering it's been basically like Mythic 0, I think, is about what we've been able to get in the open world, in line with what's available for the current patch, right? So that's nice to know. Delves are going to have different scenarios in them. These scenarios are going to rotate. They're currently testing the rotation period. So they're looking at things as short as the scenario might rotate every hour, but they're kind of feeling like maybe every day the scenarios will rotate through. They're trying to look at like what is too long and maybe makes it become boring or predictable versus what's too short and maybe is too jarring or too confusing to follow along with. So the scenario rotations are going to be still tested out throughout the alpha. Delves are going to reward a currency that you can use at the Delve vendor, and one of the things you're going to be able to buy there is going to be Warbound gear. So again, Warbound gear is that account-wide gear that you can send to other characters. So if you are an altoholic who goes out and plays open world content and you do the delves, which is the end game for that type of play style, you're going to get currency, which will allow you to buy gear to send to your alts to then repeat the whole process, which is exactly the kind of stuff that I want to do. So that's very, very exciting. And I think that covers everything that I had to say about delves that I got from the Dev QA. So what we're going to do is we're going to hop in and look at these other delves so you can see how some of the other mechanics and things are implemented here. So in Kriegwald's Rest, we're going to go in tier 2. This time, Kobolds have stolen some keepsakes, and we're going to get them back. The mechanic this time is going to be smothering shadows. So darkness is going to enshroud the area, and it will reduce your maximum health if you don't stay within a radiating light. So we're going to go in here. Same deal. We got the tools here to, spec Bran if we need to. We got our NPC with the quests. He says, go get those keepsakes back. You can see the darkness coming in. If you look at our maximum health, it's going to be reducing there. We want to get into the lights of the candle, the radiating lights of the kobold candle. So we're going to pick this up. Somebody picks it up, and then they have this area around them that is lit. As you move, the candle burns, and the radius of this gets smaller and smaller. And so what you have to do is you have to find more sources of light. You've got to find more candles in order to keep your light growing so that your maximum HP does not get reduced to the point that you're basically just getting one shot by any mob that comes around. So again, here, what we're going to do is we are going to take a look at the mini map, and we're going to use that mini map to help us find these keepsakes that we need to pick up. And so we'll be picking these up along the way. Basically, once you get the keepsakes, you can take a look around, right? Stand still, take a look around, see if there's any sort of, treasure or any sort of elite or anything like that that you might want to engage with. And I think this is interesting because you can just kind of run around in the other delves and look for whatever you want, go to every single corner. But in this one, you actively do not want to move because you don't want your candle to run out. So it adds a little bit of variety, a little bit of a different mechanic here, which I think is pretty fun. Right over here, you're going to see some bismuth. This is a new ore for miners. And you're going to see Bran's going to mine it, and he's going to chuck it at me, and he's going to give me one. So Bran will just randomly, look at this. He's investigating. He found some treasure. All right, thanks, Bran. So we're going to get a buff from that. Bran will just kind of do these random things here throughout the scenario, which I think is kind of cool. It adds a little bit of spice to things here. It's pretty fun. I didn't want to get too far into setting up my keybinds for the alpha, so, I'm just clicking on buttons and things here, just doing whatever I need to do. We've got no keepsakes in there, but we do have keepsakes over here. We're going to come over here and we're going to grab these. All right. So I was testing out the hero talents, which if you don't know what those are, we'll cover those in a different video. But I'm currently on the second build that I was trying out for the mountain thing, I think is what it's called. I actually prefer the Colossus one. But the mountain thing is pretty fun too. So I just figured, you know what, we'll just stick with it for the video. Got a nice elite here. All right, here's our keepsake. And we got one more over here. So we're 5 out of 11 keepsakes. Again, we got to remember to keep those candles lit. We do have a rare spawn in here, so we'll get to see that for sure this time. I'm just gonna fight like right here. Oh, interesting. He lit the floor on fire. I haven't seen that before. See how small my radius has gotten? So we're going to come over here and we're going to pick that up. We've got our respawn point here. Let's go ahead and grab our keepsakes. Oh, one there. We got one over here. We got a treasure in the corner and we have a rare spawn. Let's see if we can just kind of avoid that elite this time just to save ourselves some time here. Not having to fight this guy. Swing over into the corner and we'll grab this buff. This is just a big stat boost, so we can take that and we can run it into all these. We got good old Finley Murgleton over here. We click on him. Oh, it's not going to let us. That's fine. All right. So easy enough. Finley is another like side objective here, and that elite that I was trying to avoid, we just had to bump into him right here, so that's fun. They got some uninterruptible abilities. I think that flame, that candle flame ability is one of the only abilities that actually did some decent damage to me. So we'll send Murgleton over. He'll run over to our res stone, and you can see the elite dropped an item here. This item will give us a buff as well. So this is a barrier that will absorb damage for us. You can see that our light is getting quite low here. We're probably going to run out. Grab that keepsake. Door's going to open. We want to find some more light. We got some down here. Go, go, go. We got it. Again, I've purposely run through all this stuff. Right now we have that shield that's absorbing all the damage. So we're fine, but even when we don't, it doesn't do that much damage. All right, one more keystone, or no, two more keepsakes. All right, one more. And then we'll be in the final room. Does that mean a boss fight? Possibly. Possibly. All right, let's grab our last keepsake. Door over here is going to open. And it looks like we just got a objective chest in the room here. Now, Blizzard did say that not every delve was going to end in a boss fight. If you ask me, I think they were lying. Because we just got that helmet, and look what popped out of that thing. What do you know? It's a boss fight, right? So pretty much the same thing's going to happen here. We're going to finish off this boss. And then once he does, Brand's going to find us a treasure room. Now, this is interesting. He will grab you, and if you're holding the candle, he will actually, you'll drop the candle on the ground. Now, you don't have to pick it back up. You can just stay in the light radius, but he's got moves that can also knock you out of the light radius. So that's something to watch out for. You can maybe put your back against the wall so he can't knock you out. Again, here we go. You see that darkness coming in there when I got knocked out of the ring. Now he's dead. Now we're good. We don't have to carry a candle around. Brand's going to open up our treasure room, and you'll see something a little bit different here this time. Okay, so this time we only got the green chest. We don't have the other chest, but you'll notice there's some piles of gold on the floor. We can walk over these. They'll give us some gold. It is a super insignificant amount of gold. I got about 5 or 6 gold out of that. We're going to open the chest. Again, you can see the repeat here. We got some crafting reagents. We've got junk, resonance crystals, and then we've got a green piece of gear. Right. So we can actually hop in here, check out our bags real quick, see what we got. So we got some shoulders. All right, so we can throw those on. We got this chest piece earlier. All right, so then we come back to the Levo bot, 7,000. This will take us to the front of the delve again. And then we just head out of the entrance here. We leave. This is going to go away. We just walk back out into the open world. So we're going to head to the final delve of the alpha. And as we go, we're going to talk about a couple other interesting tidbits that I picked up from the Q&A with the devs. So we are headed over here-ish. All right, so we'll head that way. So other things, professions. Professions are going to be similar to how they currently work in Dragonflight. Not a lot of major changes there. There are going to be different recipes, of course. But one of the big things that they're going to be adding in Dragonflight is they're going to be adding NPC work orders, so that if you're trying to complete quests or you're just trying to get in and, you know, experience your profession, and you're not necessarily trying to make a lot of money or compete with everybody for, you know, the highest work orders and things like that, then you'll be able to do these NPC work orders in order to complete those quests and things. And essentially, they'll always be available. They'll always be around for you to tackle. So that is pretty cool, in my opinion. I think that's a nice feature that they're added in there. They're going to be overhauling the quest icon system. They're going to have some new icons for important quests, reoccurring quests. They're just trying to fix a lot of the iconography so that when you open up the map, you don't see 8 million different things. They kind of said it was, you know, like Icon City or Icon Hell. And so they're going to be taking some steps to improve that. Let's see. They're going to have the early access period for the War Within if you happen to purchase that higher tier package for it. But what they have said is that individuals that have the early access will be able to complete the campaign and get to max level. They will not have access to Mythic 0 dungeons. So basically, they're just going to be able to run normal style dungeons, no Mythic or anything like that. So there's not going to be any sort of opportunity for anyone to race to max level and then race to get geared up and be way ahead of someone else. So there'll be the early access period. Then after that, at some point, they'll open up Mythic 0 with no season mechanics, and then it'll continue to go from there. I think that's the big takeaways from me from the dev Q&A. There was a lot of other stuff that was talked about. So if you do have a question, feel free to leave it in the comments below. And if they answered it, I'll be sure to get you that answer. All right, so let's go in for our last delve here. So this is the Earthcrawl Mines. This time, Nerubians have kidnapped some miners, and we're going to go rescue them. There are going to be webs on the ground that will reduce your movement speed by 50%, and they will spawn ambushers when you stand on the webs. Okay, so we go in, we got our supplies. Here's Bran, here's our quest NPC. We're going to say, hey, what's up? He wants us to protect the cart. So we're going to take this cart and we're going to go rescue the miners with the cart. This is going to look really, really familiar, right? We got the trapped in the webs people, right? The webs on the ground here, these are the ones that will slow your movement speed, and they will spawn ambushers while you stand in them. So if you just keep standing in them, they will just keep spawning ambushers. As soon as you step out, that process will stop, right? So just something to be mindful of. You got to kind of navigate around them or not care about stepping in them. Again, at this difficulty level, not a big deal. I imagine if you're on, you know, tier 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, then you absolutely are not going to want to step on these webs. There also might be a lot more webs on the ground in those tiers as well. We don't know. We just have access to tier 1 and 2 at the moment. All right, so we rescued those miners. Carts coming forward. Spoilers, we're about to get ambushed here. All right, so there's some stuff that plays out in these scenarios. All right, we got another set of ambushers here. All right, that's going to open up our next spot here. We got a pretty big room with quite a few miners to rescue here. We've also got another rare spawn in here that we could take a look at. There we go. So we got another shield loader. The other rare spawn that I have seen has been a big Nerubian. So I have seen that character or that rare spawn before, but we're not going to get it in this video. At least it doesn't look like we're going to get it in this video. It is very nice to not have to worry about the candlelight and just be able to move around however much you want to. That's really nice. All right, so they dropped a buff. Again, that one's going to give us the barrier. I find these buffs to be pretty underwhelming right now. I don't know how impactful they're going to be later on, but as of right now, they just... I mean, I really don't care if I pick them up or not. Because a lot of times what happens is you pick them up. By the way, here's a new herb, a Michael Bloom. You pick them up, and it's like, I just picked up that buff that's going to prevent all damage, but I'm also not in an area where I'm really fighting anyone right now, so it seems kind of wasted. I really don't like that right now. I wish they would do it similar to the way Final Fantasy XIV does its items in its tower, where essentially you can get a buff and it just goes into an inventory and you can use it when you need to. There's some more bismuth. There goes Bran. Thanks, buddy. Come up here and escort the cart. Yep, I'm ready. Let's go. Probably guess we're going to get ambushed again here. Now, these little bugs do have a fear. Can't interrupt it, but you can walk out of it. These Nerubian captains have a little bit more health. Alright, so now they want us to kill 3 groups. Again, they said these were going to have rotating scenarios. I've had the same scenarios every single time that I've tried this. Oh, you know what I just thought about? That fear. If that fear catches you, it's going to run you into the webs. And then the webs are going to spawn those ambushers. And then you're going to have a tough time. So yeah, that's probably a mechanic that's going to come into play on the harder difficulties. I do love how they just roll up right next to the enemies and park. They're like, you know what, we're going to stop the bus here, right in the middle of everything. Seems kind of like a bad idea. All right, so got our respawn points. Now we've got to go and fight the Web General Abanar. I just like to collect as many of these as I can. Like, hey, come up here. All right, so down we go into the boss room at the end of the delve. Got Web General Abanar. And pretty much, hopefully by now you get the gist. We're gonna come in here. We're gonna fight the web general. And then Bran is going to explode something and we're gonna get access to a treasure room. So they're gonna pull a minecart down. You wanna get out the way. I think Bran does something there that burns the webs that are on the ground, which is, you know, fun. All right, just about there. Look at the direction of the strand. It's coming from that side. Get out the way. All right, so there we go. We finished the delve. Again, Bran's gonna run over here, get us into the treasure room. And this time we've also just got a green chest here. So no blue, no purple. We got some piles of gold again. Again, fairly insignificant gold here. I don't know if they're going to change the numbers on this or, you know, what the deal is, but 6 gold and a green item doesn't really feel great. It looks like I just got a cosmetic and I'm absolutely going to look at that here because, yes, I'm going to. The Torchbearer's Great Cloak. Okay, let's take a look at that. Okay. Nice little cosmetic there. I mean, is that purple quality? Ah, sure. Why not? Why not? Who am I to be picky about it, right? All right, so we got ourselves a little cosmetic. I also did get myself a little pet here when I ran a different delve. So I think I have it in my journal. I'll show it off here to you. Right here, look at this little obsidian weave rat. I don't even like spiders, and this thing is adorable. It's so cute. So I got this from running this particular delve as well, the Nerubian one. So we'll pop out back to the beginning here. And that's all 3 delves that are available in the alpha. That is the information that I got from the developers during the question and answer session that I was able to partake in. And just kind of overall some more information and updates about Warbands and delves. So again, those are the things that I'm the most excited for the War Within. So far, I've been enjoying the content that I've seen. Mainly what I did is I've done a few quests. I've done a lot of delves, and I have also done a little bit of build testing on the warrior and the monk. So we'll get into that more as we get into the extended alpha, because this is just a limited test. It's only up for a couple days, you know, so I don't have a whole lot that I can do during this time frame, especially considering, you know, I wasn't able to plan to have days off from work or anything like that. So what I will tell you here at the end is that if you are interested in leveling guides, open world content, delve progression, delve builds, trying to hit that tier 11 and finish it on delves on every class, every specialization, that's my goal. Additionally, if you're interested in altoholic tendencies and best ways to level up multiple characters and all that kind of stuff, that is the type of content you're going to be able to find here on the channel. I fully intend during alpha to test builds for open world content and delves. So I'll be doing a lot of that, and that generally is my focus. If you read the banner of the channel, 100% focused on open world content, right? Not focused on dungeon builds, raid builds, PvP builds. We're here for what's the, you know, how do I go fast, kill things, get my world quest done, get back to collecting stuff, or running delves for cosmetics or gear for my alt. So if any of that tickles your fancy, then hit the subscribe button. Like I said, the channel is fairly new, so any way you interact with this video is going to help. You can subscribe, you can like the video, leave a comment, share it with a friend, whatever floats your boat. It's all appreciated. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you're as excited as I am for Warbands and Delve in the upcoming expansion, and I'll see you on the next video.